The Modern Man Podcast.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Modern Man Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be tackling a couple issues, such as the lack of masculinity, lack of ambition, lack of respect, and many more problems in the young male populace these days. Joining me for today's episode is my close friend and the owner of Unseen Grail, the place where we're shooting at today, Mr. Vincent Daniel. Welcome to the Modern Man.
Thank you for having me. I've seen your page around and I've been waiting for you to give me the call up to get onto it, so I'm glad we finally doing it after weeks of also postponing the podcast and everything, with us both being busy. But great to be here.
Cool.
And I hope we can provide some good insights and knowledge to everyone that's watching the podcast.
For sure. That's the idea, bro. Well, dude, let's jump right into it. What do you think is the biggest problem in, as I say, today's young male populace? Like, what is wrong at the moment?
I feel that a lot of men, in particular, in today's day and age, don't have fathers. Their fathers end up leaving when they're young, or there was an accident that happened and, you left without the father. And your mother ends up being the father and the mother.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I believe you take on a lot of the feminine characteristics from your mother because you've been left without a father.
Yes.
And I think one of the main reasons for that is, look, there's a lot of people out there that they meet someone, they know that person for a year, and next thing you know, they're getting married.
Yes.
And personally, I think it takes time to get to really know someone for who they are.
Yeah.
And you've got to see if they align with who you are as an individual.
Yes.
So I think that being a reason, early marriage tends to lead to divorce, and it's not everyone, but a lot of the time it tends to lead to divorce, which leaves young children without that father figure.
Constant father figure.
Yeah.
Seeing them on the weekends isn't enough.
And look, that's some never ever see their fathers. So
yeah, that's true.
And I think that's where that
big problem
comes from.
Yeah. I think another factor about that when it comes to the male thing is the serious decline in testosterone these days. So not just in the young population, but in the older as well. I mean, like, fuck, dude, I'm 27, you're 24 this year. We're still relatively young, but you guaranteed know some people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s that, okay, obviously testosterone when you get older is declining in general, but are just not masculine whatsoever. They're just very much in their feminine thing. And they kind of, raising their children and raising the boys in such a way that, as you say, the feminine is overtaking the masculine.
The masculine side.
And that's creating a big problem in society these days, where now, because we're shifting so far left, the men are becoming so feminine, it's now causing the woman to become more masculine. And we've all gone a little bit cockeyed in that situation.
Yeah, and it creates a bit of a disruption.
Yeah.
Especially, again, back to the family situation where there's a head of a house being the man, and I'm a traditional person, so I believe that there's a man of a house, there's a woman of the house, and they've got different roles that they should play it. And you're going to have issues within your relationship, and I can speak from experience from people that I've spoken to when those roles start getting mixed around, like you said.
Yeah.
When a man starts doing
feminine
things around the house, and the lady starts doing more manly things around the house, and it's going to create... It's human nature. Yeah. God put men to be men, and God put women on earth to be women.
And I think that's a big problem these days. Society's now like saying, but women can do what men want to do, and men can do what women do, or whatever. Why do you think that's gone that way? Like, what happened that now men want to be more feminine and women want to be more masculine?
I think the world has gone very liberal, where almost living in the gray area, where you get black and white, but the world's almost just creating this gray area where, anything you do is okay. No one's going to shout at you. Everyone takes offense when someone has something to say about them. And it's just how I think things have become with time. But I think it's that liberal issue. And I think it starts there in America, in the western side of the world, unfortunately. We love America, but I think that's where it originated from.
Yeah.
And not even just that, I even think with the foods we're eating, with all the GMOs and everything in the foods, it's playing a major role in this decline in testosterone. I know I do a lot of research into all of these things, and the almond milks and the oat milks and all these different milks, and it's not like that in Europe. If you go to Europe, it's not like that.
It's milk.
It's just milk. Your full cream fresh milk. That's what it is, and they're
They
healthy
don't-
in Europe.
They
and
don't buy into the Western side of living.
exactly, and that's where the almond milks and oat milks have come from, is the Western side of the world. And obviously, it's a money making scheme. At the end of the day, everything's down to money and business,
100%,
which is
yes.
I understand, and
Yeah.
I think that's playing a big role, as well as your big media, movies, and a lot of people think it's just movies nowadays that are pushing a lot of different agendas. But if you look back 20 years back at movies, there were hidden clues that were going on.
It
there
wasn't
too,
so standing out, like it was how do I say, like a little bit of an Easter egg. You'd have to see it. Now we would be like, shit, okay. But when you watch that when you're younger and back then, it kind of like sits in your subconscious mind.
Exactly that.
And then makes you act in a certain way because you saw this, do this, and that, do that, what.
Exactly. And I'm a big believer in subconscious, like from being a baby to growing up,
Yes.
developing to who you are, everything comes through that subconscious.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I can say about.
You're talking about the foods, bro. I agree completely, bro. A very, very big part in our lifestyle that people, if you think about it, it's actually one of the, if not the three most important factors in our lives is our diet. And people don't take it as seriously as they should. Not just for health-wise, but if they think, as you say, it's GMOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that is prohibiting testosterone in products we use, foods we eat, the steroids that are being pumped into, let's say, your chickens, eggs, all that kind of shit, your milks. What, if you had to suggest, how do you think people should be eating? Not just for like training and stuff
I
like that.
believe people should just like go back to their roots. And by going back to their roots, just there's animals on earth to eat. And again, vegetarians, vegans, apologies for it, but there's animals on earth to eat. I believe that we should be eating them. And the plants that come from the ground as well. There's a lot of local farms. If you actually dig deep into it, there's a lot of people that have local farms, and they're not even too far away from where you're staying, that could supply you with your vegetables and your fruits that aren't getting any of these modifications done to them, obviously for mass production.
Yeah.
So
like in the supermarkets
I would
and stuff,
go back to getting from these sort of markets and farms and places like that. And even, certain supermarkets, you can do your own research and find out where they're getting their stock from. Obviously, your more commercial supermarkets, a lot of them are just getting what they can get at the cheapest price.
Yeah.
Whether it's GMO'd or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of supermarkets that take it serious, where they don't want to just be selling anything for a good dollar, where they would rather provide quality
Yeah. So like
on
Woolworths.
top of it.
I don't know. I've never done research on Woolworths, bro.
Yeah,
But they're always
Woolworths.
telling you everything's organic and stuff like that.
Yeah, but even with that, like with labeling, I know with labeling on packaging and stuff, a
marketing,
lot of it is also very deceiving. They will say
Yes.
100%, but there's a little fine T's and C's that you completely miss because
It's like McDonald's. You know that McDonald's, they've got that 100% beef.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's 100% of actual natural beef. The brand product that they use, the fake shit, is called 100%
100%
beef.
beef. And then
It's
they
actually
advertise it to everyone. Everyone thinks they're eating 100% beef. And there it is. There it is.
But yeah, I mean, and I think the whole lack of masculinity, that's for me the biggest part in day and age now is we see a lot of men, males. Also, I think the gender crisis is also a real thing with the gender identity. Are we male? Are we female? They're teaching this from a very young
Look,
age.
speaking about that, my younger cousin, so there's actually two of them. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there must be 6. The younger one and the older one must be about 9. But they were at primary school, and one of the assemblies that they had actually, there was these 2 ladies, but like they didn't really identify as ladies, but yeah, so there were 2 ladies there, and they were pretty much speaking to the primary school about this changing your gender and how it's okay to change your gender.
affirmation
And the school
care,
allowed it.
yeah.
The school allowed it. So this
Really?
is happening like in South Africa. Everyone thinks it only happens in America.
But it's happening here
It's
too.
happening right here. And there was a big situation with that. There were a lot of parents that didn't agree with it, and obviously now they took things further. They ended up winning the case though, where they got to the school to let them know, like, look, you can't just preach anything you want to preach at the school. But that's just something around here. And I always myself thought that this was only something happening in America until about 2 months ago when I found out about what was happening at my younger cousin's school. It's happening, yeah.
But
It
I mean,
is,
it's the same thing. I think what it started was when I first started realizing that it is a problem. Yeah, is the unisex toilets, bro. Unisex toilets. I mean, it's such a weird little phenomenon that most people won't take it seriously. But how the fuck are we having unisex toilets in school? I mean, majority of all the private schools have unisex toilets these days. So that means you can walk into the toilet as a male boy and check a chick undressing or stuff like that, and everything's fucking
At the
fine,
peak of your
bro.
testosterone in high school,
Yes.
and see a lady
100%,
undressing,
bro.
and that's okay.
Nah. I think, as I say, this gender identity crisis thing, I mean, as you say, you're a traditional man, bro. Myself as well. There's two genders in this world. And, you know, like, people can give me backlash. You can say what the fuck you want to say. Really don't care. If you think that you can change your gender, you should go see somebody about that.
And I've actually
that's
got
a
someone
problem.
that you could see.
Yeah.
So. You can leave your Instagram
Contact.
handle there in the comment section, and we can get back to you on that.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, like, now this is also becoming. You were speaking about where we're living in a gray area, and now nobody can say anything wrong these days without getting cancelled or saying
Yeah.
you are hurting my feelings, your opinion, or what, this and that. That is a big problem for me, because when we were growing up, if you're doing something fucking stupid, you were told this was stupid.
Yeah, you're doing
You
something
know what
stupid.
I mean? You were actually like, and your feelings didn't really matter in that point, because you were like getting told what is right, what is wrong. Now they are trying to blur the line between what is right and what is wrong, and making it that like anything that is bad in our eyes and stuff like that. I mean, I saw some shit about they were trying to create a sexual, you know, when you like things like, you know, like bisexual, asexual, you know, a sexual preference
Yeah.
about kids. About kids.
So now it's okay to
Now
have a
it's-
sexual preference with kids.
It's a mental illness, apparently, to think,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's like you can say, I am child sexual. Oh, I don't know what the fuck the term was, bro. And I thought to myself, that is, the world is fucked. The world is
And they're
absolutely
normalizing that.
fucked. They're normalizing. They're making it like, oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's just who you are. And it actually, it makes me sick. It makes me sick. But anyway, sorry, the point that I was trying to get to is the lack of, now people don't respect other people's opinions, you know? I know we have this whole thing of Elon Musk always fights for the, what's the word? Right to, you know, what's the word?
Like
Free
freedom of
speech. Free speech, sorry.
Say what you want to say, do what you want to do.
Freedom of speech, 100%. I like that he put that on Twitter and stuff like that. I just kind
X,
of...
not
yeah,
Twitter.
X. Yeah. We'll talk about X's after this. No, I'm joking. I just feel like some people shouldn't get to say what they want to say, bro. It's just, it's a little bit fucked
And it's a
up.
tricky one, because media is going to publish certain articles because it's going to get good attention. And most of the time it's to do with the topics that we're speaking of now. So
Yeah.
they're going to allow someone to come on TV to say, you know, transgender, everything is fine with that, because it's getting a lot of attention. Because a lot of people are hating it. And what is hate? It's attention. A lot of people are loving it. It's also attention. And
Yeah.
they don't see attention as a good or bad thing. It's just attention.
Any
It's
publicity
attention.
is good publicity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep publishing that. And I don't see things getting better. I don't see things getting stagnant either. I
Yeah.
just see it getting worse in that aspect
Yeah.
with regards to masculinity.
How do we fix it, bro? Where do we go
Vote
right
Donald
here?
Trump.
Vote Donald Trump.
Vote Donald Trump. It's
I
on my
agree.
Instagram
Vote Donald
bio.
Trump.
Vote Donald Trump.
Vote Donald Trump, 100%.
Joey Biden.
No, dog.
Nah, sorry, man.
I saw Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson just did a podcast now about a week ago, bro, and they were speaking about, well, obviously when this pod drops, it'll be a couple weeks ago. I'd urge everybody to please go and watch that, where Elon Musk is now waging war on this woke, it's called a woke disease. He's calling it
Yeah.
a woke disease.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we can say vote Donald Trump. Yeah, it will change a lot of Western ideals, right? And as you say, that kind of like influences the
It
rest of the world.
stems to the rest of the world eventually.
Yeah, but I mean, let's talk now in anybody watching this here in South Africa especially. How do you influence the people around you to become more masculine? And I mean, you know guys around us, bro. Do you know, like your group of friends, top shelf. Other people,
Might not be the same. And I think, you know, the best way to influence those around you is to lead by actions. There's only so much you can say where people will listen to you. Most of the time, 90% of the time, people don't want to listen to you. But if they see you living your life in a certain way, they see how you are with your family, they see how you are with your spouse, with your friends, with colleagues, how you carry yourself. And obviously, as we're men, so how we carry ourselves as men. And if you can do that correctly, your actions lead correctly. And I'm not saying now pull a facade where every day you're trying to play this character. Just be you and let people want to be more like you because of your actions in life. They see you don't have problems with your spouse all the time. You don't have problems with family. You don't just like have issues with everything that's going on in the world. They're going to slowly start attracting themselves to that, where maybe they were negative people, but you're just positive. Even when bad things are happening, you try and look for positives in those negatives. It's contagious. And I've literally myself firsthand seen it with people around me, where you start acting a certain way because you're on the self-development path now. And there's certain things you're saying no to. All of a sudden, you're going to slowly start seeing friends around you that are following suit. They want to, and they're not saying anything. It's not like, hey, I want to be like you, bro. But
it's unspoken words.
You very quietly, you see it. And you don't say anything about it because you don't tell someone, hey, I told you so. That's the worst thing to tell someone. But when you see it, like I told you it's the way to live and you don't listen to me and now you're doing it and everything's great.
Told you so.
But that's the thing. So I think that's how you can influence people is by those actions.
Yeah. Because
then you're living it. You're not just there's too many people out there, especially on social media nowadays, that they preach a story and they preach everything about their life, but they're not living that. When you meet them in person, you realize that actually is not anywhere close to who they are.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for them now to get people to follow them because are they following the version that they're on social media or are they following the version that they're in person? And often there's that saying, the worst thing to do is to meet your heroes in person because you're going to get a wake-up call and realize they're not what the media's made them out to be. The media has built a character for them.
I think a lot of people also now are going a little bit wrong about it, where they want to act, as you said, they put on this facade, act like this character they put on their social media, I'm this person, I'm training, I'm doing this, I'm saying this, what. But as you say, when you meet them in real life, you realize, you can just feel from their energy right away, they are not them.
And energy will expose you.
Exactly. 100%.
If you're in tune with energy, it'll literally expose
real
someone
people
right
will figure
in
you
front
out
of
very fucking quickly.
Yeah. You don't even need to meet the person.
Yeah.
You can
just see it.
You can see it quick.
100%. And I think anybody watching this right now, if you guys are having any opportunity to start having people follow you and do it in person. Influence the people around you in your circle
very
of
good
friends,
starting point.
Your family, anybody that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. Leave the social media behind. There's enough people trying to fucking do it. Okay, a little bit fucking hypocritical. I'm sitting on this podcast here. You know what I mean? But that's
trying
the point.
Trying to turn men into modern men.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's just my producer making noise. Thanks, man. What else did I want to say? There was another thing. Dude, I want to speak to you about religion. You're a very religious guy. What kind of place do you think religion is, unfortunately, not playing in these days? Because a lot of religion's lacking everywhere. So what is the lack of religion, and what do you think it could fix if it had to become more prevalent in today's society?
So let me start off first. You said that I'm very religious, where I was born into religion, but I wasn't necessarily religious my whole life. The whole shift only came about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Where as an individual, I keep trying to better myself, and there were most of the avenues that I was trying to better myself in, I was already on. So I'm like, what else could I do to better myself? And one of the things was religion. And I slowly I was more intrigued with the Bible and learning a little bit more about certain things in the Bible, so you can actually start a proper understanding where people can have a conversation with you about it, and you're not just sitting there with a blank face. You actually know what's going on in conversation. So that happened. And ever since then, I would then say I'm religious. And by saying religious, not to say I go to church every weekend. It's just my connection with God, my time I spend with God every day. That's what I'm on. And I don't want one day, I've read this Bible, I know the Bible off by heart, and I've never ever communicated with God on a day-to-day basis. And I get to heaven and God says, who are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I've read the entire Bible. He's like, great, excellent, but like, who are you? And then I sit and realize, I never actually had a communication. I never spoke to God once.
Yeah.
I never did any of that. So that's what I don't want to be the case.
Yes.
But that's just to catch up with my religious background.
Yeah. And how does that make you feel now, bro? Like being religious from not being religious? Because I'm just asking for more personal as well, because I haven't been a really religious person throughout my life. I mean, I got confirmed in the church also. And then till I would probably say recently, I've also started thinking about it more with the whole religion thing. I always used to, I'm not going to say bash, because that's definitely not the right term, but I used to just kind of
Have your questions.
dismiss religion in
And
a
have
way.
your questions.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
why
I
certain
I still
things
believe in the universe, in energy and everything like that, but I'm thinking a lot more about the morals and the principles that religion brings to a person.
So the first thing I can say is when things go bad, you realize it's not the end of the world. Because what we have on earth is 100 years, let's just say, on earth to live your life. And then if you're religious, you believe there's an eternity. So what it helps realize when something doesn't go well, whether it's business or with family, anything like that actually, anything bad can happen. And at the end of the day, you know, you've got God in your life and your eternity life is sorted out. So yes, things may not be good here on earth for this past month because some bad deal happened with business. But you know your eternity is pretty much sorted because you've aligned yourself accordingly. So that what I would say is the biggest thing is nothing is really an end of the world scenario anymore for me. Nothing is bad enough to happen to me where everything's going to come crashing and I'm going to quit my life and decide that's it now.
I just want to play devil's advocate just on that
No,
point, bro.
100%.
Just other people listening to this, they would ask, where's the proof in that, the eternal life? You know, how do you know? Obviously, religion's faith. You believing in something that you kind of aren't 100% sure about, correct?
Yeah. So that's what it is. It's faith. And funny enough, so I've got a home so every Wednesday, and it came up this past Wednesday where it's very difficult to explain to someone that knows nothing about religion at all, regardless of your religion, to explain to him, like, I get asked the question a lot, like, how does it feel when God speaks to you? And it's not like the same way I'm speaking now on this podcast. Things happen. Actions happen. Things you've been thinking of, praying about, starts unfolding in front of you. And
manifest into reality.
if you're not fully present, you're going to miss it and you're not going to realize that there's the answers you've been praying for. But when you're present, when you're in tune, when you're in touch with the spiritual side of you, that's when you start saying, oh, that isn't a coincidence. What happened there, that was God speaking to me. And that's how God, at least to me, talks to me. Maybe different people, it works differently. But for me, it's through actions and a feeling. Sometimes I have this feeling of almost invincibility, where I'm so in tuned with my spiritual side. It almost feels like nothing in this world could take me down.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how big, no matter how
Doesn't
dangerous or scary it is, like, it doesn't matter. It won't be able to take me down because I've got someone
Behind
a
you.
lot bigger than me that's got my back.
Yeah.
And it's like, think of it when you're in school. You always have that one big friend in your group, or this like guy that could fight in school, street fight, whatever. And he was always in your group. You don't mind when someone's causing problems with you because hey, I've got this guy.
Yeah.
And it almost works the same.
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
feel
yeah,
a little bit more, hey, like, you can come at me. I've got someone else that's going to come and fight for me.
Yeah.
And
It's less stressful, bro.
a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
The stress drops. And I know, even if it happens, we're all human. There might be a month where maybe I'm not spending as much time in my Bible, not communicating with God as much. And at the end of the month, I'm like, why was I feeling a certain way? And it's not a coincidence then that, hey, but
It's like falling out
you
of
stop
routine,
doing
bro.
something and you don't realize
Yeah.
what you're missing until it's gone.
100%.
And it's the same thing with that for me.
And now, in this day and age, where a lot of people are calling our generations, not just our generation, let's call everyone on earth at this moment, a godless world. It is a bit
And
of
I
a
agree
godless
with
world
that.
at the moment.
I agree with that.
What do you think? Do you think, obviously, the world would be a better place if religion became a bit more prevalent? Prevalent? I don't know if that's the right fucking word. Prevalent. I think prevalent's the right word.
It's not an English class, at least. To all our English teachers, apologies.
In a lot of people's lives, but I've also seen that religion is also the cause of a lot of problems in the world.
It is, and I think it's less of a religion and more of people's opinions.
Okay.
Opinions create conflict.
Yeah.
I don't think religion on its own is creating that conflict. It's
Yeah.
more of people's opinions and how strong they stand by them. A lot of people aren't understanding. where they've got something fixed in their mind, and that's pretty much it. And
tunnel vision.
that creates tension, which creates conflict. Where myself, like, I'm a Christian, but I've got a lot of different friends from different cultural backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and I love to learn about their religions because I'm open-minded to it. I like to see how they see the world.
Yeah.
What makes things right and wrong for them
What's different
compared to me?
Yeah.
What's different? And I think that's the best way to learn about religion. It's not to focus solely on your religion, but on others too. So when you have yourself a conversation with someone from another religious background, you can actually already off the bat have points with their religion. They'll be, okay, so you actually aren't ignorant in only understanding your religion. You know a bit about mine too. So you're a smart person. You've done your research. So that's where I think the conflict comes from. People that aren't doing the research, the people that are stuck in their own ways. Their parents said this is it, and that was it for them for the rest of their life.
Then they don't know how to deal with those kind of people.
You can bring up
you can't understand. The perception's completely fucked.
Exactly.
They can't see through your eyes because they've got you.
Exactly that.
That's crazy. Religion, yeah, we could.
And
deep
religion's
dive
a
into- It's a very touchy
look, I don't
subject.
normally like speaking about religion,
No, neither
but
do I. I think this was a nice little touch on it.
it is crazy, and
I do respect it, bro.
I
as
respect
say.
all religions. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing. Just respect all of them.
100%. And respect the people too, bro. As I say, like, I'm looking a bit more into it. I don't know if it is for me or not. I do believe, but I don't. Yeah, so it's a little bit.
And
This
look,
is
we've
for
all
questions
been
for
there.
people, you
Yeah,
know. 'Cause
we've all been there.
I'm that person. But let's get off of that, bro. I want to learn a little bit more about you. Tell me about the store that we are sitting in today. The
Yeah.
brand behind you.
Yeah.
Unseen Grail.
So
Give me the backstory.
wow. So when was it? 2018, I matriculated. And my family wanted me to run through university, like I think most parents want their children to do, is get a degree.
Yeah.
And I was always going to do it, but more so just to make my parents happy than for myself. And at the same time of that, I was trying to work on different business plans because that's where my mind's always been at. In high school, in primary school, I was always busy I had businesses running throughout school. And that was always naturally my mind went. I never ever thought of, let me go to varsity, get a degree, I'll get a good paying job. I never ever thought of that. It was never where I was at, ever, consistently. And yeah, so I matriculated 2018, ended up studying. So
What'd you study?
BCom in marketing.
So did I.
Yeah.
I did mine in accounting. But
Yeah. So I did my BCom in marketing, but that, like I said, that was just,
Did you do the full 3 years?
Yeah, so it was 3,
Oh,
and then
shit.
I still did a postgrad 4th year.
Oh, shit.
So
I did 1 year and I quit. I was gutful of that, bro. I hated being poor, bro. I was like, fuck that. I need to work.
It is, and you're actually
Yeah.
paying for that. But anyway, yeah, just to go back to now what you were saying. So that happened, and my first year of varsity, I was venturing into what I can do to make money, which I think what everyone that leaves varsity thinks. And I was studying, everything was going fine. I was still doing very well with the studies. And eventually I met someone at my university actually, and he did sneaker reselling. And I've always been big into sneakers, I've always been big into fashion. But it was never a business. It was
Yes.
more of just from a consumer point of view. And
It was a passion. Kind
it
of
was a
thing.
passion. It was something I loved. Like, since I can remember,
dabbled into it,
like,
but yeah.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
what I did. I can remember being 7 years old and my mother taking myself and my brother to go shopping. And my brother, within 10 minutes, would have his budget spent, done. And, like, I would spend hours at the mall
Looking at
going,
things, yeah.
and then my parents would be like, but why don't you just get this? Like, I don't know if that's what I want. And it's purely because, like, it needs to suit me. Like, I need to feel what I'm wearing. And it started way back then. So fast forward 2018, at varsity, I met a guy, and he was doing sneaker reselling, but almost as a side hobby. He had very wealthy parents, so it benefited him with getting it all started, getting stock, getting his hands on
Yeah, the capital, yeah.
rare
Yeah.
items. But yeah, so me and him were friends. We started talking. I started helping him with a bit of the stuff that he was doing already. And then sooner than later, all of a sudden, I found friends wanting shoes. That's where it started. Friends wanting certain sneakers that were rare, that you couldn't just find anywhere. And I would help them. I would get what they needed. And then it was the friends' families, friends. And it just slowly started growing like that. And
Word of mouth.
word of mouth. And that was all while I was studying. And then fast forward to 2021, it was almost becoming like a full-time, part-time job where I was busy. So I don't know much of you know anything about me, but I was busy starting up a restaurant called Ben and Luigi, which you know about.
Yeah.
So it was me and 2 other partners.
Best pizza on the East Rand. Shout out. We've done a podcast there, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the restaurant we were busy with for about
Fuck,
a
is
year.
that 2021
Yeah,
already?
2021.
Yes.
It was even, we started in 2020, but
Yeah,
2021 we got big
I remember,
developments
yeah.
happening. So that was like our main focus. And I was still doing the sneakers as a side hobby. And then the year 2022 came, the restaurant opened for the first time in 2022, which was great. You know, now you need to focus on growing this restaurant. At the end of the day, it is a business. So as pretty as it looks, it needs to make money. It needs to pay for staff and everything like that.
It's pretty on the outside.
Exactly like that. So we were pushing the whole of 22 for that, myself and my two partners. And at the start of 2023, I realized that my side hobby of sneaker reselling was getting too big to be a side hobby. And it took away a lot of the time that I had at the restaurants. Luckily at that time, the restaurant was at a place where there was managers in place and staff in place where I didn't have to hands-on be there anymore. So everything was working smoothly without me being there. And I made a decision early 2023 to
Go full time.
move out of that partnership from the restaurant and go full-time with the sneaker reselling because, like I said, it just became too big.
Yeah.
And I had a crazy
also now your
demand
passion,
for everything. And it was where my passion
You
lied.
enjoyed it more than the restaurant.
Exactly. The restaurant was a business.
Yes.
This is now
For sure.
a business, but where your passion is lying too. And I know it sounds cliche, you know, like if you
wake
do
up,
what you love, you never
know
work a
what
day
the-
in your life.
yeah.
But to a sense, that is true.
Yeah.
It is. Like, yes, there's still days I wake up and I'm like, I've got to still do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But you get up and you shake
Do
up
it
and you make
anyway,
it
yeah.
happen anyway.
Dude, you don't hate it. I always say, like, you know, I don't go to work and think, ugh, like, I don't like doing this. Yeah, I might just not feel like doing this, but I do like doing it at the end of the day.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you as a business owner would know the same thing.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it became that, got out of the partnership, me and them, everything's still great. We're still actually partners in other businesses.
Yes.
So there was nothing
Yeah,
bad
no
that happened
turmoil,
there.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I was obviously reselling the sneakers pretty much since 2019 with that guy that I met in varsity.
Yes.
So it was about fast forward 5 years, give or take. Then I realized, I need to
Just
set
your
up a
full-time
shop.
thing,
I need
yeah.
to get things going. So the shop initially was only going to be sneaker reselling. No apparel, no sunglasses.
I remember we spoke about this, bro. You're sitting in
Nothing
my
like
office
that.
talking about
Exactly,
this.
yeah, literally in your
Yeah.
office. And that's where I was heading towards. And often with business, you have a plan, you follow it, and something will happen. That plan will change. And how my plan changed, we got the shop open. A week before our official launch, one of my very close friends, actually, he's got his own brand of his own, and Mark Paul is the brand that he's got. And he was asking me, hey, like, would it be a problem if I could get the brand in your store? And like, I'm not a guy that's going to say no. I'm like, of course. Like, you my friend. I want to win in life. I want
Scratch
you to
my
win.
back,
Everyone
I'll
can
scratch your
win.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
So he got his brand in, and it was a day after his brand was in. Still, we haven't launched yet. He's like, he's got another friend that he works with that also has a brand. Can they get their brand in? So I said, of course. Just let them bring their items through. Let me see if it matches what we're trying to do. And they brought it through. Everything was great. So we started with two brands, two local brands, South African brands. Obviously with all the sneakers that you can probably see in the background. And then, one thing led to the next. My one business partner, Unseen Grail, we got on a mission then of onboarding local brands strictly within South Africa.
Yes.
And the local brand part came in from, I've traveled a lot, and everywhere I've traveled, I can just see how much support they give to their local brands. In the States, especially, it is crazy. Like, they literally only wear state-owned
United
brands.
They keep it American.
They are so patriotic. America.
Yeah, America.
And exactly that. That's the best way
Even
to
the cars they
emphasize
drive,
it.
America, bro.
Exactly.
Fucking,
So
keep it
everyone
in-house.
there
Yes.
keeps it in-house. And then it made me think,
Until
that
Joe
isn't the
Biden
case
came,
here.
but yeah,
That isn't the case here. I was always shopping at
Yeah.
all these other stores, buying internationally designed clothing, which is great. Look, nothing against them. But I also realized, because I've got a lot of friends that are also in like the fashion industry, and I could see how good their work was. And then I realized, we've got great designers on a continent as Africa. I arguably think the best designers in the world are from Africa. And I wanted to create a shift where we can be a platform that high-end local brands can get the recognition that they deserve, not just in South Africa, but internationally.
Yes.
A lot of the items that we sell out of the shop aren't just going to South African customers.
Yes.
We've got international customers too.
Okay.
And
That's crazy, bro.
It is. And to think this started off as just an idea. Now all of a
Yes,
sudden you've got
yeah.
international customers buying your merch from you. So that was where that started. Then my partner used to onboard brands. Every day she would reach out to certain brands and see if they can get their items in. And fast forward a couple months, we've got about 50 brands in store now. We had more. We had to get rid of a few because they just weren't no longer aligning with what we were doing here. But yeah, then we had those brands. Now we, on a daily basis, have some of the biggest brands in South Africa reaching out to us, seeing if they can sell their merch through us. Hop on board with us. They can see, and the opportunists want to do it. So
they believe in the movement. Bro.
Exactly that. And a lot of the time, it's less of the brand they're buying into and more of the person behind it.
Yeah,
and
it's always like that.
I think like they can see, you know, it's not. I have limitless goals. There's no ceiling to what can get achieved. And I think when I have conversation with them, they realize that that's the case. So they want to get on board.
I'll give you your flowers on that one, bro. You're a very hardworking young dude, bro. Like, I like it. I like it. That's why we get along.
Yeah, that's exactly why we get along. Like minds.
Yeah, for sure, bro. But dude, as I say, this is such a beautiful concept that you've got going here and the growth. I mean, you guys haven't even been open,
it's
like
been
a year? Not even
about
yet?
6 months now.
Yeah. So,
6 months,
I mean,
and
dude,
it's crazy
it's
what's
moving
happened
at
in
crazy
6 months.
speed, bro. But it also shows you what happens when you put your head down and you work on your goals and believe in yourself as well, bro.
And that's where ambition comes in.
Yeah.
Where I think you're born with ambition to a sense, but you can develop it too.
Yeah.
By surrounding yourselves with the right people. If you're surrounded by people that aren't ambitious,
there's no way you're ambitious.
You're not going to be ambitious by default. And it's not a you problem. It's just your surroundings that aren't going to get you there.
Change your environment.
That is the most cliche thing that's said, but I cannot state it enough that it's so true. 100%. It's so true, and you don't realize it until you
cliches are there for a reason.
It is
because it's 100% fucking correct, bro.
And when the people above, the successful people in all the industries, in my industry, in the fashion industry, they all say the same thing, and it's surround yourself with winners that are trying to win in the same game that you're winning at. Yeah. And with me, it's fashion. I'm trying to win in the fashion game, so I want to be surrounded by people that are involved in the fashion game, or in business that are ambitious. Yes. You're not necessarily dealing with fashion businesses as Manny, but you're very like-minded in the sense where you're also going to, I can call you one day at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, yo, Manny, I'm busy working. Hey, me too. I'm not cool. And cheers to that. And then carry on working at 4 o'clock in the morning. Good night. And that's that.
Facts.
That's why I can spend time with you. Yes, you're not in the fashion industry, but you want
like-minded, bro.
The bigger things that life has 100%. To offer.
As you say, there's no end, bro. There's no end goal in sight. It's just kind of work until you drop. Like, to be very honest
Luckily
with you,
for me, it was instilled from a kid. Like, with my parents, they were very ambitious. Yes. My dad went crazy with everything he did in the business world. And obviously, there, again, back to what we said in the beginning, subconscious. That fed my subconscious mind. Fast forward years later, now it's like, why am I ambitious? Rewind back a little bit, and you're going to realize, wait, remember when your father used to tell you this? Remember when you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on your school holidays to go and do this, and this, and make this happen? Yeah. Now all of a sudden, all those dots are linking, and it's like, you know what? Like, I used to hate you back then for that, but now I absolutely love you for that.
100%, bro.
And I wouldn't choose to have it any other way.
No, I agree with that completely, bro. I think we both lucky that we were brought up in such a way, bro. It's actually beautiful to think of, bro. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that, which is a sad reality. But at the same time,
change your friends.
Yeah, change your. You know what?
That's the first.
You are not the product of your. What's the word?
You are the product of your environment.
Yeah, you are the product of your environment and your choices. So if you continue to choose,
but where you're at now is not where you're going to be forever.
No, 100%, bro. And just pick something and fucking go full steam ahead of it. 100%. And for me, like, pick something and just choose it. You know what? I loved what you said there, with a business especially, bro. You come up, people like, oh, give me a business plan. Fuck a business plan. Because a plan, you start from the beginning. As soon as you start moving, fucking roads open. Exactly. Doors open. You never know what's going to happen next. You can have an idea or an end goal at the end, but you kind of adapt until you get there. There's no actual set plan, and I love that you said that.
Look, even with the plan, it benefits you because it gives you a direction.
Yeah.
And what a direction does is, let's say now you're in Joburg and you want to head to Cape Town. You're not going to go via Limpopo to get to Cape Town. So that helps you in knowing what to say no to, because not everything's a yes opportunity. You don't want to be a yes man in life.
Yeah.
As much as you must be an opportunist.
Opportunist.
As much as you must be that word.
Be able to say no.
You can't just say yes to everything, because it might pull you off your path of where you're trying to get towards. If 100%. Someone in Limpopo is calling you, but you know you're trying to get to Cape Town, and you need to be in Cape Town in the next day, you're not. It's impossible. You can be able to do both.
Exactly.
So it's the same with business. And recently, I was actually speaking to one of my colleagues, and we had a whole business conversation that just actually happened. It was on a Sunday night, funny enough.
Yeah.
And we were speaking about being able to say no and what a power there is to that. And even if it's, a Saturday night you planned on, let's say, doing a stock take, right, with all your stock that you've got. And now you've got friends that are saying, hey, we've booked a table out at this and this place. Come with.
Yeah.
Celebration, and people are celebrating anything. Yeah. We're celebrating, it's the weekend type of thing, And, or celebrating, I've got my hair color changed.
Yeah. Why are you celebrating, motherfucker?
Exactly that. And that's where you've got to be strong enough to say no. And people will, I've been called a loser. I've been called boring. I've been called, you're not the same as you used to be. Thank God I'm not the same as I used to be, because the person I was and the person I'm now are two different people. Yeah. I've developed since then. I would hate for 5 years from today to meet someone and they say, oh, you exactly how I remember you. I would literally probably start crying. I'd sit there, start crying. I'd say, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong in all of this?
What did I not do?
What did I do wrong here?
Dude, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Not everybody will think like that. And it used to piss me off, bro, because just the way, you and I will think in a certain situation, bro. People aren't like that. And I've realized the reason why. Some people were put here to remind you of what it would look like if you don't push forward. If you aren't ambitious, if you stay the same person. And you see them in 5 years. I actually had this conversation on the podcast before this. And in 5 years, you're going to go to the same place, see the same people, have the same conversations, and you're going to be like, damn, now I realize why these people.
And look,
are
it's
the
not
way
to
they
say
are.
that we
They're
trying
not
to say
bad
that we're
people.
above anyone or that they
dude,
below
I'm not
us.
going to lie to you. I think I'm better than the majority of people, bro. They're not to be a dick, but I work hard to get to that point, bro. And it is, you can call me an asshole. It's fine.
And look, I think that's fine. Personally, I wouldn't say that I hate to say I'm better than other people, you to yourself. But on that note, everyone can be in a position of someone else. Yeah. If I want, for instance, Virgil Abloh, one of the greatest fashion influencers of all time, he literally changed everything in the fashion world. He bleeds the same way we bleed. He hurts the same way we hurt. They are human, the same way we are human. They are human. And that just means you can achieve that. 100%. And it's the same for people around us. There's a lot of the time people come to me asking me for business advice or just general advice. I'm mentally, I'm not feeling one. It's not like I'm the self-help person, but I love to help people if I can. And what they do with the information is on them. But
you can take a horse to water. You can't make
a drink. And that's the same thing. People mustn't, let me speak about myself here, but I don't want to look up at people and have jealousy and envy towards them because they're better than me. I would like to say thank you for being there because it's proof that it is achievable, right? So you've literally proved that's where I can get to. So that's excellent. I love you for that. Where majority of people get that confused. Someone's doing better than them and it's just hate, jealousy, and it's strong. You can literally feel it when you're around those people, and those are the sort of people you don't want around. And I think you can, whether it's friends or family, sometimes even family, and those are sometimes the first people you've got to cut if you want to keep succeeding. They are the worst. They will hold you back to their beliefs, to their limitations that their parents have set them. But who's going to break that curse if it isn't you? Bro, if it's the same thing, and you can see it so many families, the child is literally just a byproduct of their parent. That parent was a byproduct of their great parents, and it's just a repetitive cycle.
It comes back to the environment, bro.
That's why I love people that break that break that chain. They break it, and they different. They shine different. They move different. They talk different. They've got that piece where people look at them and say, "I want to be like them." Like we were speaking about in the beginning.
Yes,
I want to be like them. How do I be like you? Let me start acting the way you act.
Exactly.
And not to say acting like me is going to make you a better person, but maybe by trying to act like me, you realize a few things about yourself. Say, okay, I don't want that from Vincent, but I'll take that from Vincent, and then I'll mix it with a little bit of my own.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important.
I love that, bro. To end this off, dude, this was a beautiful conversation.
Look, we have this conversation nearly every day.
Dude, 100%.
It's just now there's cameras here. And
I love conversing with you, bro. This was fantastic. But give the people watching this one piece of advice, bro. What kind of advice would you give them?
Okay, can I give two?
Yeah, give whatever you want.
Let me give two. So number one, find something bigger than yourself that's worth living for. There's only so far you're going to go in life by you being the main thing. There's only so far you're going to go with that.
I love that.
So get something in life way bigger than yourself, with a bigger purpose than yourself. So every day you get up, you're ready to take on your day, you're ready to take on your life, and you love your life because of that. So find a bigger purpose in your life. That would, I definitely say, would be the number one thing. The number two, to put this nicely, don't be a bitch with anything in life. Just don't be a bitch. Every loser in life has an excuse. And I want all of you, for the next 24 hours in your conversation with people, to just listen to them, and you will hear that they've got an excuse for something that they didn't achieve. Do not have an excuse, and by not having an excuse, just don't be a bitch. And that goes for everything, for work, for family, for your spouse. If your wife is asking you at 11 o'clock at night, like, what would make her whole night is if you can go and get her favorite chocolate. Just get up and go and get the chocolate. Like, is it really going to kill you not to do it? You know? Is it really worth it?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It
Take
works for
action.
business, works for anything. Take action, be an action man. Don't be a bitch, and please don't be a loser with excuses. If you lose, you've lost, but learn from it.
Yeah. Take the lesson, not the loss.
Take the lesson, not the loss.
100%. Bro, again, I just want to say thank you for that conversation. It was very insightful for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any comments, any questions, where can they find you on social media?
They can find the business.
Yes, where can they find Unseen
Instagram, Facebook, just search Unseen Grail. We'll have it up in descriptions and stuff. You can literally just search Unseen Grail. Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're there.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm also on Instagram, Vincent Daniel, straightforward. No numbers, no nothing. That's it.
Perfect. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Modern Man Podcast. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Peace.
Incoming message. The Modern Man Podcast.